If the Democratic Party becomes the likes of Zoran Mamdani, you have no chance.
These Democratic Socialists are knocking out Democratic establishment candidates, people, that have been doing this for quite some time. And Bill and Dana, that's why they say they want to take them out. They say they're part of the problem. They need to move the Democratic Party in a new direction.
These were not people running on an affordability agenda. These were left-wing extremists that were elected last night at the expense of moderate Democrats.
You ignorant folk in New York who voted for this, you need to F around and find out. You need to find out for yourself why this is stupid. When your city come crumbling down, then you will realize that what you did was stupid and communism don't work. Before we get back to the show, I want to tell you guys about Shinergy. If you're tired of energy drinks that spike you up, make you jittery, and then crash you later, Shinergy is built differently. Shinergy Day gives you clean, steady energy and focus with natural caffeine from green tea. Shinergy Night helps you wind down so that you can rest and you can wake up clean, not groggy. It's a simple day and night system made with natural ingredients, no sugar spikes, and no synthetic stimulant overload. Go to ShinergyLife.com and try it for yourself. Better energy, better rest, better rhythm.
These Democratic Socialists are knocking out Democratic establishment candidates, people, that have been doing this for quite some time. And Bill and Dana, that's why they say they want to take them out. They say they're part of the problem. They need to move the Democratic Party in a new direction. And in this race here in New York City, an endorsement from the mayor meant more than an endorsement from the party's top leaders.
That last June, a year ago tomorrow, was not an anomaly. It was not the end. It was the beginning.
Mamdani went 3 for 3 last night with fellow Democratic Socialists Daria Liza Avila Chevalier, Claire Valdez, and progressive Brad Lander winning. And Brad Lander won fast. We were watching those results come in. They all want to do a few things, all right? Abolish ICE, defund the police, cut ties with Israel, and take the party in a new direction. One of the night's biggest upsets, Chevalier knocking off 5-term Congressman Adriano Espaillat. She's a newcomer, rather. He's not. And she is strongly anti-Israel. I keep thinking back, did I see her out at Columbia? Because she went to school there and she was also leading those campus protests. Israel also the defining issue in this race. One of the main reasons that Congressman Dan Goldman lost to Brad Lander was because of Israel. They're both Jewish, but boy, do they have different takes.
But it's not just the Jews who will lose, it will be everybody else.
How do you balance that with being anti-AIPAC, anti-Israel, and a lot of things, but you're Jewish?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a proud Jewish New Yorker. I wear it on my sleeve, raising my Jewish kids in this city, like, proudest thing in my life. It's an incredible city for Jews for a century. I'm going to fight to keep it that way.
But a lot of Jewish voters don't feel safe in New York or across the country, so we'll keep an eye on that. The so-called red wave, though, is not just in the Big Apple. Democratic Socialists won nearly every key race across New York State yesterday, and some voters tell me the reason I came to the United States wasn't to deal with this. I came to escape socialist policies. Do you want to bring socialism in?
No.
Why?
No, why? Because I'm from Latin America. We have a Venezuela, we have a Cuba. We know an Spanish speaker, Latin America, we know what it means socialist. We don't want this in New York.
And the DSA is calling New York City the Commie Corridor. That's a new one, so I don't know if I should toss it back to you and say live from the Commie Corridor or live from the Big Apple. But one more thing here is we're going to have to see. The question is Zoran Mamdani's playbook going to work in November? That's the big question that I think those Democratic leaders are watching too, Bill.
You know what? I'm actually excited about this. I'm actually happy. Because I think the world and you ignorant folk in New York who voted for this, you need to find out, you need to F around and find out. You need to find out for yourself why this is stupid. When you're sick, because I don't live in New York. I do no business in New York. I don't even care, to be quite honest. I live in Arizona. That's the furthest place I can find away from New York. When your city come crumbling down, then you will realize that what you did was stupid and communism don't work. All that free stuff is stupid. Nothing in life is free. When they run out of other people's money, you're going to be eating out of a trash can, and I'm going to laugh at you. And you know what's going to happen is everybody's going to go buy up your real estate when the real estate prices are low in New York City, when you lose your house and go into bankruptcy. And I'm not going to care. I'm not going to feel sorry for none of you socialist nut jobs. I'm just going to take your stuff and let you sleep on the floor outside of the house that I just took from you at half the price. This is what's going to happen. All the billionaires and all the moneymakers are going to move outside of New York City. And you guys are going to come crumbling down. It's going to look like Gotham. And we're going to laugh at you as we take all of your economic success that you watch dwindle in front of you. Now, this is an example of one of these fools that are getting elected in New York, and y'all sleeping behind the wheel. And I'm going to say this. I bet you $1 million none of this would happen if the church stood stronger and quit being wussies with a P. That's exactly what's happening. Y'all afraid to say something. Y'all afraid to stand up for something. You letting these dudes and their penises in women's locker rooms and nobody say nothing about it. And you sit around and you watch your basketball games and you do nothing about what's going on in society. And they're going to F you without consent. And then you're going to cry. And you want to go come move to Arizona. Don't move here. We don't want you here. All of y'all that didn't step up and vote, look at what you got. A city that was struck by terrorism from these ragheads are now running the city. And they don't see it differently than the ones that ran the planes into the buildings. They're just lying to you to make you think they're friendly with you. This is the stuff they believe. And then some of them are telling you in plain sight. Listen to this fool. Roll it.
We are calling for abolishing ICE. And, I'm speaking from someone who's running for local government because I really believe that what we also need to do, in addition to fighting ICE, is talking about not just what we're fighting against, but what we're fighting for. So I'm calling all of you to join our campaigns to tax the rich, our campaigns to fight for free universal childcare, for fast and free buses. Because when we talk about universal childcare, I picture a woman who is actually needs someone to take care of her children while she goes and visits her partner in a detention center. Finding that, the system of capitalism and racism and white supremacy, etc., and Islamophobia have all been used, to colonize lands, right, to take resources from other people. And so this is like a long trajectory. And we're just seeing the manifestations of that continuation, right, with 9/11. And so a lot of times when people are asking us to respond about, attack, right, if you look back, historically, right, a lot of us come from lands that were colonized, lands where wars are being waged, right, a lot of times because of U.S. policy or the policies in Europe. And so I find that we can connect over that, but then also that the idea that we have to apologize for a terror attack that a couple of people did, and then there is no apologies or reparations for genocides and for slavery, etc., is something that I kind of find reprehensible.
These people are so stupid, it's crazy. Put Raghead back on there. Who is doing more colonizing? The white man or the Muslim? Go and look at the countries in the Middle East that used to not be Muslim majority. They're getting colonized. People are being enslaved as we speak by these Muslim-run nations. And if they could, they will wipe Israel off the map and every Jew will be drowning in the Mediterranean Sea. And then they would go to Europe and they would go to the United States of America and they would have Allah Akbar in the White House. And put Raghead back on there, because I just want to make this quick point and I'm going to move on. Why don't you cover your whole face? Y'all be doing this half-baked stuff. Go cover your face like they do in the country that you claim you love and you came from. They got to wear the stuff right here. Why you get to show your whole head? And they got to cover their eyes up and put a blanket over the eyes. Y'all out here playing Muslim. Let's move on. Scott Jennings had something to say about it, and I think it was incredible. Roll the clip.
Fascinated by the Goldman Lander primary. I agree with you. I think Dan's going to lose. I don't agree with much of anything he's done in Congress, but I'm surprised you sort of glossed over the main issue in this race, which is Israel. I mean, Dan Goldman is a congressman, and he's Jewish, and he went into a coffee shop this weekend in Brooklyn, and they said, you're not welcome here anymore. Brad Lander is out speaking in mosques, telling those people that he'd like to go align himself with Ilhan Omar and the rest of the squad. Dan Goldman's only sin, I guess, is that he thinks Israel has a right to exist. And for that, that has been the principal issue in this. And you've got the mayor of New York City, Mamdani, out saying about AIPAC and Jewish Americans who have participated in our politics that they are, quote, monsters. What is happening right now in New York City, the Democrat Socialist takeover of the Democratic Party, should frighten not just Jewish Americans, but all Americans everywhere, because this is the direction the Democrats are headed nationally. Look what's happening in Michigan, and it is frightening. Throwing Democrat Jewish congressmen out of coffee shops in Brooklyn, New York, it's not 1930s Germany. This is the United States of America.
We warned you guys, and we're going to look back 15 years from now, 20 years from now, and we're going to say, we told y'all, this radical socialism stuff is crazy. It's all theoretical. There's no application to it. It's not real. All right, let's get to Joy Behar with her sorry self. Roll it.
Obviously, New Yorkers are not watching Fox constantly, and so they're not afraid of the term democratic socialism. If I fall down, I want an ambulance. If my house is on fire, bring your hose. You know what I mean? Yeah. We are looking. I'm not scared of the term. I think they're scared of the term in this country. But Social Security is a democratic socialism. Partly unemployment insurance is. The people who pick up your garbage, the people who take the fire out at your house, all of these things are democratic socialism. And there's a major reaction formation going on right now. If you see, we'll see soon, we're talking about it later, about Republican senators are turning, congressmen are turning on Trump. And people have had it with this right-wing, nasty politics that we've had to subject ourselves since this guy got into office. Well,
these people are so dumb. You would think a person on TV would be educated enough to have a real conversation. They have no idea what they're talking about. It's like they're reading a news headline and they're not even reading the article. Wasted Face has something to say, and I think she actually made a point here, wrote a clip.
So you just talked about these goods and services. You want the police to come. You want the fire department to come. Well, one of your new candidates, Avila Chevalier, who won last night, wants to abolish the police and all prisons. She was asked 4 times, how would you deal with somebody who committed murder then? What is your plan? And she dodged and didn't answer. She tweeted that Obama is evil, Biden is a rapist and a war criminal, and bleep Kamala Harris. These were not people running on an affordability agenda. These were left-wing extremists that were elected last night at the expense of moderate Democrats. So a seat that you guys do need to win if you want to take back the House.
I don't like the way she sounds at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, but she's not the party. But she's one person.
But that is the point, is these candidates that were endorsed by DSA, the Democratic Socialists, were extreme candidates. And I've seen this happen in my party where the extreme right wing takes over and you can't get your party back. I would warn you all, this is very dangerous and it could risk you losing the House.
The only thing I disagree with about the extreme Republicans, what are the extreme Republicans doing? Telling you men shouldn't be in the women's bathrooms? We need lower taxes, tariffs. What are extreme Republicans saying? Extreme Democrats saying no police. They said no police, no jails. I can't wait to see y'all get mobbed on in New York. I need to go and get some dinner there and go to my favorite restaurants before that thing turned to a pit stop. All right, Stephen A. Smith has something to say real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very, very clear. If the Democratic Party becomes the likes of Zoran Mamdani, who, by the way, I like, not trying to throw any shade on him or anything like that, but if the Democratic Party becomes him, you have no chance. You have no chance on a national basis in terms of the presidency. In Senate seats in the House, you have no chance. You have no chance. I want to be very, very clear about that. You might have a Democratic Socialist sprinkled here and there, but that ain't what America is. America's about capitalism. America's about dollars and cents. America's about an economy, a flourishing economy. Okay? And you know what it's not about? Free stuff. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it.
Say it, Stephen A. Say it then. It's not about free stuff. You got these people like Ilhan Omar. I mean, not Ilhan Omar, but Ilhan Omar. Remember, y'all see what her net worth was? And then all of a sudden she get busted, she change it. They own companies. Like, think about this. Every single one of these socialist nut jobs believe in capitalism. They just want you subject to socialism. They don't want to be a part of socialism. They want you to only be able to make this much money. And they want to take money from you to lie to you and say they're going to give you free stuff. They don't live like that. What's the old man name? I forget his name that he wrote a book. What's his name? Billion dollars. What's his name, man? Y'all know what I'm talking about. $1,000,000 and $1 billion. People in the comment section know what I'm talking about. We got to talk to $1 million and $1 billion. He looked like this. Y'all got to know what he's talking about, or everybody fired. Who am I talking about? Y'all, everybody fired. Everybody fired. Everybody fired. Nobody in there know who I'm talking about? Look at the comment section. $1 million and $1 billion. We'll have to pay that for our taxes. Who am I talking about? Bernie Sanders. Y'all all fired. Bernie Sanders is who I'm talking about. That nut job wrote a book and made millions of dollars. Why didn't he give his book away at cost? Why didn't he give his book away for free? Nancy Pelosi and them worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Why don't they cap themselves at a certain income level and donate the rest of it in tax revenue? I mean, to the Treasury. Because they don't give a they want to make as much money through capitalism as they can. What's his name from California? Gavin Newsom from California got a vineyard. That got millions of dollars. They don't want to pay more taxes. You can't name the tax they pay. Donald Trump paid more taxes and gave the charity more than Barack Obama and Mr. $1 million and $1 billion. They lying to y'all and y'all falling for it.